Welcome to this video where I'm going to give you one of the tips that I believe everyone should know. This tip's going to be about talking about your case. My name is Zachary Divelbiss. I'm a criminal defense attorney here in the Phoenix area. I'm the owner of Future First Criminal Law. I believe this tip can hopefully help you before you get in trouble. So let's see what we have here. Number 11 is there is still, because I've done a previous video similar to this, no value in arguing your case to the police. But we're going to talk about a little bit of a different situation here. As noted above, during a police encounter, there is no value in arguing your case to the arresting officer. The same holds true post-arrest. So after you've been arrested, the police may spend some time questioning you. The point of this interrogation time is to gather information for the prosecutor to use against you and maybe even try and get you to confess to a crime. The interrogating officer might offer to drop certain charges or promise to go easy on you or to get you a better deal if you just tell them what they want to hear. Don't believe it. In general, if the police had sufficient evidence against you to go forward with the case and obtain a conviction, then they won't be offering you a deal. Moreover, what's happening is the police officer sitting across from you in the interrogation room has no real power to cut you a deal or drop the charges. So although the police can make recommendations to the prosecutor determines whether a government who they represent, the state of Arizona here, will offer you a plea bargain and what the terms of that plea bargain will be. So therefore, when a police detective promises you to get a particular deal, you can't rely on that promise. Accordingly, do not make a deal or sign a confession before you talk to your lawyer. Telling the interrogating officer that you're exercising your right to remain silent is the most important thing you can do. And then remain silent. This 11th tip here is so important. Talking to the police is a scary thing for a lot of people. Many people have not ever talked to a police officer, so they feel as if they're being rude or as if it's going to make them look more like a criminal if they don't talk to them. Police are trained to look and appear friendly. Police are trained to make small talk, to appear as if they're your friend. Well, guess what? The moment they start asking you anything related to a case and not, how was your birthday last year? Then they're trying to gather information to convict you of a crime. This tip here is so important because we see this all the time. Police will arrest you and then they're going to do the classic sweat out. Except instead of sweating you out, they're going to take you to the station and they're going to put you in one of the holding cells with a terribly uncomfortable chair, maybe not even a desk, and it's going to be freezing cold. And they're going to leave you there for hours. The police do this every day. They're trained to do this. You think this only happens in the movies. It is not true. They're going to leave you after they've arrested you at a pool party, at the river, at your house, half naked, and they're going to throw you in a freezing cold cell. And they're going to make you suffer because they know that they then have bargaining leverage. They then are going to enter that cell and they're going to say, hey, I need to talk to you about some stuff. And you're going to be so cold, you're going to say, oh my God, I'm so thirsty, I'm so hungry, I'm freezing. And they're going to say, yeah, well, maybe after you help me out and answer some questions, maybe I'll see what we can do about that. Well, guess what? That's not coercion to a certain degree. Obviously, that's what us, the lawyers, are there to determine. But this is a classic tactic that's used every day here in Arizona. So understand, the police are allowed to manipulate those situations to make it uncomfortable for you. Understand as well, the police all the time like to lie to you about these promises that they can't make. The police are allowed to lie to you. And if you rely on that lie, there's nothing you can do about it. Because I can guarantee you this, the police will never put into writing what they're promising you. And that's your key indicator. Is if you ask the police officer, yes, I'll absolutely do anything you want, but will you first please put into writing for me to keep your promise that you're going to dismiss this case, or you're going to promise me a certain outcome? And I guarantee you every single day of the week, the police officer is never going to do that. And this is part of their strategy, is to manipulate you and to lie to you and get you to confess something, to get you to rat out on someone else, to explain what you were doing at the scene of the crime. They want to appear to be your friends sometimes. They're not. This isn't just a quick thing that will go away. Our biggest case that we've ever had, they held somebody for 10 hours in a freezing cold room. And the police knew that there was no valid charge against this person. This client was smart. He had talked to me before because I had represented him before. And I was able to tell him that this was a tactic that the police were going to try and use with him in the future. Sure enough, 5 years later, the same thing happened. The police tried to get him to flip on someone else. The police held him for 10 hours in this holding cell. The police promised him all kinds of things. And none of it was true. This guy was smart. He shut his mouth and he said, the only thing I'm going to tell you is that I didn't do it and I want a lawyer. Guess what? He eventually was released. He then contacted us immediately. We were then able to help ensure that no charges came out of this. He got all of his property back, but it's only because he did what we told him to do. He was smart about this. We're here to educate you now about what you should do if something like this happens to you. Understand that there are all kinds of situations that could happen. Please feel free to contact us if something like this is happening to you or a loved one. We want to help keep good people out of jail. We want to represent you.